What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Storyteller Jet with another episode of the That's So Fire Talk Show. And today I am bringing my man Amel to the show. I think you were like the third one that we had when we first started the show. So he's super excited to bring you back and chop it up a little bit over here in the show. Man, the first one that we had was super awesome. We talked about how you guys were able to grow your business to over $500,000 a month. And obviously, you've been doing some really great stuff ever since. So I'm super excited to have you back on the show. So we are going to start by doing a quick introduction of who Amel is, and then we're going to chop it up. Let's go.
I'm excited, man.
So who's Amel? And share a little bit about your background, and let's go.
I mean, whoever doesn't know me, so originally from Bosnia, I left Bosnia when I was like 6 months old. And you know how it is when you're a refugee, you're jumping from country to country. I lived in Germany for a little bit. I was about 8 when I moved to the US. And when you move to the US and you're like, there's a whole different system here. I feel like everything was moving faster. Like people were hungry, they were chasing more. I don't know, it's just a different world out here. And I talk about this in my book a lot. And when you're foreign, you have like no other option but to figure it out yourself. So even at school, I was a shy kid, and I was like, dude, I gotta find a way to break through the ice, because I felt like I was like kind of behind like a wall or a mirror, because I was just always like super shy. And I was like, what can I do to break through this ice? So I started reading more, I started learning more, I got into the business space, I started doing more content. We're here today, right? Sharing the message. There's a lot behind the story, man, which I think we'll dive deeper into the podcast.
Absolutely. I did not know that you have a book, so we should definitely talk about that too. Did you launch it like from the last time that we meet each other, or do you have it for a while now?
It went live. Well, this is my second book.
Oh, second book. Okay, so we'll talk about both of them. So, so you jumped like from different countries. Like, how many countries did you go to before coming to the US?
So we were in Sweden for not too long. I want to say maybe less than a year. And, like there were concentration camps in Bosnia. My dad was in a concentration camp. After he got released, they sent him to Germany. So we're like, okay, let's reunite. So we moved to Germany, and we ended up staying there. So it was truly just 2 countries before the US.
Okay. So when you started moving from Bosnia to Sweden and then to Germany, was it because of like political unrest, or what was happening in Bosnia that maybe pushed you to move to different countries?
Yeah, I mean, whoever doesn't know, there was a war. The war started like in my city. It kind of escalated, I want to say like in March, and I was born in October. So it was already kind of like a few months in, and I was born in a hospital that didn't have electricity. I was born like at 2 a.m., like it was nighttime. The fact that I'm still even alive in a territory that wasn't really owned by us anymore, that's the crazy part. And then obviously everyone got sent out of Bosnia, and
yeah. And it's kind of like a very interesting story too, because now that you've moved to the US when you were 8, and now in 4 months you're going to be moving back to Bosnia and making a life over there as well. So we'll talk about that a little bit later into the talk show. But it's kind of like a full circle moment now that I think it was like a year ago, you went back to visit and you fell in love again with the country, and you want to go back now and start with all the great opportunities that may be in Bosnia. So before we delve into those conversations, let's talk about your entrepreneurial journey.
Let's do it.
How did you get started as in your entrepreneurial journey?
So I went down the medical route, right? Being foreign, you have the option to be a doctor, a lawyer, or engineer. So when I finished high school, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Let me just go down the medical route. And then I started doing some math. I was like, if I'm dedicating 4 years for my bachelor's, then I have to dedicate another 4 years in med school. Then I have to do like another 2 years of like internships and shadowing and all of that. I'm like, I'm going to be like 30 until I start making some money. So I was like, I still don't know what I want to do, but I don't want to be 16 years in school and then like try to figure it out afterwards. So I was like, let me just get my nursing degree license, right? So I got my like BSN. I started practicing as a nurse. And in the meantime, while I was like still in the school kind of process, I was flipping fake items like Ray-Bans, Michael Kors watches because they were popular back then. The Beats headphones. I'm talking
Wow.
about like 2012, 13, you know?
Hmm.
And then I had a good friend that was also Bosnian. He came to the US. He had a software company and he was like, listen, I need someone to sell and close my like clients and my leads. And I never like really worked on high ticket like sales. Like it's completely different versus like selling like fake items on the streets, you know? So I was like, yeah, sign me up. Let me see what I can do. And it started off slow. I never really like sold like, I mean, I was selling Harvard on knowledge-based software companies.
Wow.
The conversations are different.
Yeah,
It's not
totally
like, yo,
different.
what's up? Who are you buying this gift for? It's more so like, hey, what are the problems that you're facing? You know, what solutions are you guys looking for? What'd you explore in the past? This is how we can provide like a solution to you. So it was a completely different world for me, which I think that skill set allowed me to get to where I am right now. Because I feel like knowing how to sell is like the most valuable skill set because you're selling yourself all the time, like selling yourself to be on a podcast, selling yourself to get hired for your services, selling yourself to be someone's connection, whatever it is. And we ended up separating after that. Like I stopped working for him. But I was like, dude, I love this space. I love business. I love the hustle. I love the fact that I can get on the phone and close a deal and make 3, 4, 5K off of it,
Hmm.
which took me a month to work at the hospital. So I was like, I knew I was gonna get into the business space. I just didn't know how. Imagine like I tell you, like, yo, let's go build a rocket ship. It's like, where do I even start?
Yeah, for sure.
And my friend's like, bro, like go start your own business. I was like, I don't even know where to start. But at that point, I finished school and I was like, let me move to Tampa. Let me move somewhere else because I feel like my circle was keeping me kind of in the life that I was like already in,
Yeah.
right? The shy kid, and like we play soccer, we hang out, but I couldn't like try to like break through that identity that I was. And then I moved to Tampa, and I was like, all right, clean sheet. No one knows me. I can be whoever I want. So I ended up going to co-working spaces. I ended up going to business meetings. I tried drop shipping. I tried a whole bunch of stuff. They all failed, and then I landed on marketing. I got a few paying clients. So I was like, this might be it. So I mean, it's serendipity, man. It's hard work and luck. I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah. So this show we talk a lot about failures. Can we talk a little bit about all the different companies that you started and that you failed at, and what are some of the lessons that you've learned throughout that journey?
I mean, you know, like we consider them failures if you're not in the business space. If you're in a business space, you don't consider them failures. I consider them stepping stones because you know what happened? Like when I launched the e-com store, technically it was a failure. I made like $50. Someone bought like one product. But in that process, I learned how to run ads because I had to like push my products on social, right? And guess what I'm running right now? An ads agency
Yeah.
because of that stepping stone. So yes, I failed at ecom by like I developed another knowledge that I still utilize to this day. And then after ecom failed, I didn't jump into marketing right away. I jumped into like a SaaS product. I know nothing about code. I made it look like a SaaS product in the front end, and it
Yeah.
was like me like hustling in the back end,
Yep.
right? But in the meantime, like I had to learn how to build websites because I had to build my own website for the SaaS company. And we also offer like website building services within Gentech. So like all those things, like you consider them failures, but to me, they were stepping stones to get to where I am right now.
Yeah.
You know?
You should never underestimate the journey that you are in, because the things that you think that might be like, the smallest thing, or that might be the craziest thing that you had through your journey, might be
Mhm.
that one thing that differentiate you from other people, or that one thing that is a stepping stone for you to create what you were truly intended to create. Like for me, for example, I talk a lot about, like, how I first started doing videos. Like,
Mhm.
it was like I was borrowing computers from the church. I was borrowing like everything that I didn't have any other thing of the thing, borrowing the cameras, borrowing the
Mhm.
computers to be able to do it. But in that journey, that small, I call it like the mustard seed principle, like in the Bible, like the mustard seed,
Mhm.
something super small that God is using to create even something greater in your life. So like anybody should never discount, like, where they get started and what that journey looked like to where they are today. So
The thing that gets me, and like I don't want to interrupt it, but I do want to touch on the fact that, you know, you are today because maybe you picked up like a computer or a camera a long time ago. And imagine you never picked up that camera.
mhm.
I feel like we're too scared to try new things And I feel like there's a lot of skill sets out there that are just buried because people never like really got exposed to that skill set. Because what if you're a great basketball player, but you never picked up basketball?
Yep.
What if maybe you're a good soccer player, right? But like people don't know. So like my recommendation is like try as many things as you can while you're young, because until you're like 30, it doesn't matter if you fail, man. Like life is so long.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you've gone through that journey, starting different businesses that did not like really grow to like where maybe you were expecting it to
Uh,
go to. How did Gentech marketing get started?
so like I said, like I was exposed to a few of those skill sets that I had to learn whenever the other businesses failed. But my girl was going to school for marketing, and I really didn't know much about the space. So I was like, I like what you're learning because I love psychology, and I feel like marketing is truly psychology. So I was like, interesting. Let me look deeper into it. Like, what does it truly entail? And it's like really understanding the buyer persona, understanding pain points, and understanding how to put the message correctly to touch on the pain points and having the right call to actions. And I loved all of like everything in regards to that.
Yeah, face
So
this. Yeah, move this to be facing the mic, the base.
I messed this up, man.
All good.
But just like anything else, I saw a basketball. I was like, let me try to shoot it.
Mhm.
Right. So I saw marketing. I was like, let me see what I can do. And I started like really pitching the services to anyone I could see. I was like, "Oh, you run like an e-com store? Let me run your ads. Oh, you do this? Let me try to run your own ads. Oh, you post on social media? Let me manage that for you." And I was just like kind of digging into it, and I figured out what services I liked within marketing because marketing was like
So
huge,
vast. Yeah.
you know. And what I found that I loved was like paid ads because like truly you can scale that like crazy. I don't need more manpower. All we do is just dump more money into the ad spend.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So you were able to scale that business to over $500,000, not a year, a month. What are some of the secrets or the things that you were able to do to get to that level?
So last time I was here, we had a lead company. So that one was doing higher numbers, and that's the one we exited since the last time we spoke.
Oh, you exited that.
Yeah, that
Go.
one.
Awesome.
It was in the insurance space, so we were providing leads to insurance agents, and we exited that company. I want to say almost like a year ago. But no matter what, that was technically a marketing company as well, right? Even though it was kind of like a lead vendor. The thing that you need to do to scale is, people talk about niches, and I truly hated niches. And still to this day, when people are like, yo, you got to niche down, like I'm like, no, don't niche down. But the market is like so saturated where if you don't speak to a specific audience and really drill down their pain points, you're just another marketing company. I see this with my content too. If I'm just talking about marketing, it's like, okay, whatever. But when I'm talking about like marketing in Bosnia, like it blows up because like it's very niche. So true success comes when you dominate a niche and hopefully you get good case studies of people that are known in that niche. And when you slam that case study down on someone's desk and you're like, do you want the same results? Everyone's going to say yes. So figure out how to get to that level because when you have the ultimate ticket, I feel like it's the ultimate ticket when you have like a solid case study, everyone's going to want to ride that boat.
Mm, yeah. So you were able to scale that business. What were some of the what were your tools stack?
Mm.
What were some of the tools that you were using to be able to get to that level? Whether it's like, from like running ads and like the conversion, like the funnels, like click
Mm.
funnels and all of that. So what were some of the tools stack that you were using to be able to get to that level?
So I like the question, but you know this yourself as well. To make it, let's say on YouTube, the camera itself isn't really what's going to allow you to blow up because there's a lot of people that record with their phone and they blow up,
Hmm.
right? So all the tools are out there. I mean, the stuff that we used was ClickFunnels, Meta Ads. We used Lead Prosper, which is a software that distributes all the leads. We used Stripe to collect the payments, like all the stuff that's like already out there.
Hmm.
But how do you make it run to not break? And I see this happen with a lot of my clients. They're like, there's this new AI thing. I want to plug it in, like AI agent. AI video creator, all these things. I want to like not run ads like at night because no one's like looking at Facebook at night. Like the more complicated like the software is and the system is, the more likely you won't scale because it starts breaking down. There's too many things that can go wrong. I personally like businesses that are simple, 2-3 softwares that just do the job. So to answer your question, it was those softwares, but my dream business and any business that I create, it's how do we eliminate as many softwares as we can?
That is very interesting and very kind of counterintuitive than most people out there. They just kind of want to build their tech stack, not really kind of really focusing on like the less. I like to say that too. Less is better.
Always.
Because now you have less stress to manage different things. Like if you can manage everything from a single account, perfect.
You know why they like stacking on things? Because there's builders and there's like kind of thinkers and researchers. I'm truly like a builder. Like give me like just some nails and like a hammer and like I'll build. But some people are like, I need the chainsaw, I need this, I need that, I need that. And when you're like, I need this, I need this, I need this, the list never ends. And you get too occupied by researching the new trend. How do I like invest money into this new product that you truly don't maybe need? I see this happen with friends and clients all the time. And there's nothing against having the best software, the best products. It's just like my problem is like most people don't know how to draw the line to say, listen, I've researched enough. It's time to put in the work. That's why I'm like doing a research, just like going for the work.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned that you exited that part of the business over the past year. What is your current focus right now with Gentech marketing?
I mean, I love where Gentech is going, man. We acquired another agency in Guatemala. We were trying to expand outside of the US because, everyone's like trying to get into the US market, which obviously there's a lot of money here and I don't blame them, but there's so much potential in other markets. Why? Because it's not as saturated and not that many people are trying to dominate that market. And because just like the content that I explained, when I post something about Bosnia, it gets more views and more engagement. It's my like unfair advantage that I can talk about Bosnia. You can't.
Yeah.
So you can't tap into that market. So the fact that like anyone can almost tap into the US market as long as you speak English, it's too saturated. It's me creating content about marketing. But me opening up an agency in Guatemala where no one's really focused on Guatemala, it's exciting to me because there's so much money in other countries that people are just like brushing them off. Even people that live in that country, like even people that live in Bosnia, they're like, oh, Bosnia's broke. There's no money here. I'm like, just look around you. There are companies that are doing well. Why can't it be you? Like especially in these countries, like there's a lot of wealth in the infrastructure and the building and like dumb stuff like toilet paper.
Yeah.
Right. There's soap. And that's where true wealth is. It's just hard to get those clients in the US, but over there you can get them. That's the true value.
And also because you have already conquered the US market.
True.
Now the perception of being in a different country, like that elevates you a lot more than all the other locals over there. Because now they're going to be saying, oh, this guy has worked in the US and has been successful in the US. They would absolutely be able to help me grow my business. So you'll get those businesses probably even faster than all the different agencies that might be already be local because of the perception of you coming from the US.
I agree with that. I like to play with words to make whatever image that it's like Scramble, right? You ever play Scramble? Is it called Scramble? I don't even know. I've never played it, but like I know what it is. Scrabble, yeah, something. But it's like you have letters and you got to like put together whatever you can figure out. That is a good thing because I can play with my letters and lay that out. But other people can lay out whatever image they want of themselves. Because, for example, there's a marketing company in Bosnia that does super well. I think they make $700K in Bosnian marks. So like that's around $400K USD, which is amazing per month. Like 99% of you like marketing companies in the US don't make that much.
Yep.
And they're like in Bosnia and like you can say, well, I'm not from America. Like I can't like use the line that you use. So I'm never going to start this. Like they started and they're crushing it. Um, but that's definitely the advantage that I play. That I'm like, listen, I bring in the Western strategies, business and marketing strategies to X country.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you are now currently in the Guatemala market and also planning to expand into Bosnia.
Mm.
Why did you decide to like open it up in Guatemala versus any of the other countries in, Latin America?
Because serendipity, man. Life is amazing. I had like agency blueprint where I was working with agencies helping them scale. So I think it was like the second person that ever signed up. He had an agency in Guatemala, but he lived here, and he was like, "Listen, I want to expand into the U.S. market, as everyone does." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll help you. I'll help you scale." Truly, we built up his Guatemala team and office and clientele so much that he didn't even need to focus on the U.S. But we saw potential over there because I was like, if we can use your connections and your resources and use our case studies and our like knowledge in the marketing space, I know we can dominate over there. So instead of us opening up an office over there, I was like, let us acquire you. You join our team. We get all your like team members and your employees and case studies and everything, and let's just build together. And that's what we did. And like one big market that we're crushing it with over there is development. So people that like developing condos and houses and stuff like that. Almost every developer is trying to work with us because we got them good results. And you have never thought about that niche. And the thing is, like, even him at that time, he was only charging his clients like $300 because he was like, listen, it's in Guatemala. People don't have money. I'm like, they got money. You're just not charging for the right services and you're not providing the right um, offers to get them enough money. Because guess what? Right now, we charge US prices in Guatemala because when we sell them a property, they're 300, 400, 500K USD.
Wow.
So, like, it makes sense for them. That's the reason that we expanded. And that's why, like, I'm super excited about Guatemala overall.
Yeah. When did you expand over there, and how long has that been? Like since you expanded to Guatemala market?
We expanded into the market probably like a year ago, but we acquired the other agency 6 months ago. So it's been 6 months all
Okay.
in.
How has that process been like? I know you probably had to face a lot of really big challenges and hurdles
Mhm.
and all of that. For anybody that is watching this, what advice would you give them if they were considering expanding or even like working with foreign team members as well? What advice would you give them to like if they wanted to expand in a different market?
Try to find a local. I don't think we could have done what we have done if we didn't have the other agency that we acquired. In essence, the CEO that we acquired, because he put us into the right rooms where then we could say, hey, we're from the US. Do you want our strategies? But I feel like it would have been harder to get into the rooms without him because, like, for example, he knew the person that knew the person that knew the person that knew the person. Because Guatemala is small, so is Bosnia. You can get into like the rooms with the biggest person in the industry within like a day. Good luck doing that in the US,
Mhm.
right? Um, so try to find someone local, either someone that you can maybe like split revenue with, where you're like, hey, if you give me this deal, I'll give you a cut, or bring him into the business and let that person be the head of that division. Because I feel like you can win a lot more by sharing than trying to like take the whole piece of the pie because it's probably gonna crumble.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely key to find somebody that already knows the market, knows like what's working and what's not, and that has the connection as well. Are the people like the staff over there that are like working as part of the agency? Do they do any work for Gentech marketing too,
Hmm?
or well, I mean, now you've
Yeah,
acquired them. So how is it like to have a foreign team? Like
I
I know you
love it,
probably
bro.
like different language. There might be language barriers.
Yeah.
There might be like some other things that we've learned here that like customs and stuff like that that are different over there.
Mhm.
What are some of the things that that struggles or hurdles that you faced like working with like a foreign team?
Um, I mean, obviously, there's things that maybe could be considered setbacks, but like, there's so many more positive items that I saw. For example, like, yeah, the customs in the US are different, but there's a lot of stuff that the US market is missing that outside markets usually do as second nature. For example, just being a human. I feel like here everyone's like business, business, business. Are you gonna pay me? If you're not gonna pay me, like I'm not your friend. I'm not gonna go above and beyond for you. I'm not gonna just send you a gift because it's your birthday. We don't think about that unless there was like a return. Like I'm gonna send him a gift because I want him to continue being a client. Like everything's like me, 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 me. And I think truly we're missing that side of business here in the US. Because like even in Bosnia, when you go there, you just feel like you're welcomed, man. Like, you know how many times I've gone to the same coffee shop in the US and they don't even know my name? Or they've never been like, yo, coffee is on me today. Or like, hey, by the way, we just got this new dessert. Would you want it for free? Like on the house, whatever it is. But like in Bosnia, it's just like so common. Like, what's up, bro? Like, good to see you. How's the child? Like, they know everything about you. Oh, you order coffee? Don't worry. Like, it's on the house today. Or like, actually, like it's my birthday next week. Do you want to come out? We're grilling. That's how close we get with our customers.
Wow,
Um,
incredible.
Obviously, it's hard to do it with everyone, but it resonates because guess what? Like, you might be like, hey, I might ask you, like, what are you doing tomorrow? Tomorrow, you're like, oh, I got invited to so and so's birthday. I'm like, oh, who's that? You're like, oh, he actually owns the other coffee shop. I'm like, oh, that's cool that you're so close with them. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm probably gonna go check out that coffee shop because I've never been to it.
Mhm.
It just like builds deeper referral connections versus you just saying, yo, go check out that coffee shop.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. So you've been very successful with Gentech marketing and doing all the Blueprint agency. That was a good one too. And now, as per the conversation that we've had earlier, you're now focusing a lot more on personal branding as well. What are some of the things that you are currently doing to enhance your personal brand?
YouTube is a big one. I'm pushing YouTube more. I'm trying to be a little bit more authentic in my content. Before, like I used to post a lot of reels. Whoever followed me back in the day, like 2 years ago, I used to post 2 reels a day for a year, and they were super high quality, and it looked good. But like I feel like people were missing the connection with who I truly am. And it's like, they watch the reel, it's like, oh, good information, move on to the next one, versus, oh, damn, I didn't know that about Amel. And now they can kind of feel like they know me. So I want to like get into content that is a lot more authentic because I truly think that we're missing that side of our life,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. So we are currently in a trust recession. Like,
Mm,
and one other thing that we are transitioning our stuff to be to is to incorporate more of like personal stories, even though you're selling like business kind of stuff too. Like talking about your experience, like the failures, the setback that you've had, the hurdles that you had to
mm,
jump. All of these have like business lessons in them, or they may be directly tied to like what your offer is.
mm,
So utilizing those and putting them into your overall story instead of like focusing on providing tips, instead of like doing all the other stuff, but incorporating that in your overall story to continue to build trust with like the people that you're serving. So I think this is probably like one of the biggest kind of thing that is lacking in
mm,
content today, because like everybody's focusing on like how can I produce that types of content to be able to attract leads and stuff like that, whether instead of like focusing on providing value but also sharing that personal side of you. So big commendation to you for like wanting to focusing on the authentic side of the story as well, instead of just kind of trying to provide information.
You know what YouTube videos I watch now? And I would be a ideal person that people would want to target their ads towards, right? Business owner could buy products, whatever. And you're thinking about like where is Google and YouTube sending their AdSense? And the type of stuff content that I'm watching are the ones that have no cuts. It's
Mhm.
literally someone that has their DJI Pro, which I have, and literally they're just recording. And there's no cut. There's like no editing. Like maybe chop up the front and the end, and you just upload that. Because I feel like that's very authentic. While when there's cuts, you're only trying to showcase the good stuff,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, I slipped. Let me cut that. It's like, no, leave it. Let people know that you can slip as well.
Yeah. Those a lot of those types of content definitely are the ones that work really well too. Um, so you're now focusing on like YouTube primarily. What are some of the strategies that you are using to make sure, besides obviously like you're doing more authentic, like
Mm.
what are some of the strategies that you are using to make sure that you show up more on YouTube? Like, is there like a specific time that you're posting? Is there specific types of content? Is there like, what are you doing specifically to ensure that you are growing your personal brand on YouTube?
I mean, whoever goes on my YouTube, they're like, "Why is this guy giving advice about YouTube?" Because I'm not nowhere near like being like a YouTube like expert. Um, but I started like a year ago, and I think because when you're trying to perfect content too much, you're not gonna put out too much volume. You might put out like one video a week, maybe, because you gotta test YouTube as well. So one recommendation is try to put out as much content as you can, and you'll start seeing what your audience wants to see, and then you start doing more of that. Because I know personally, like when I'm recording in Bosnia, I get like 5,000 views, 7,000 views, 8,000 views. I think one got like 14,000 views. It's not crazy. But compared to my other content, when I'm talking about like business or marketing, it might be like 500 views or 1,000 views.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that my people want to watch like me in Bosnia, but I'm not in Bosnia right now. So like I still need to create content. So maybe I can talk about Bosnia or running a business in America versus Bosnia. But you also need to understand what do you want from a YouTube channel? Because if you're trying to get clients, and I'm talking about Bosnia, like I'm not gonna get clients that are in the US. So you do need to know what topics to talk about. I just know personally for me, like since I am experienced in Bosnia, I do want a Bosnian market. So best advice I have for people is like don't overthink it, just start posting, see what your people want to see, and just start creating more of that.
I love it. Awesome. So now it's kind of like a full circle moment for you. You escaped Bosnia when you were 2 years old. I think you mentioned
Now
earlier.
six.
Six,
Yeah, six
and
months
then
old.
6 months old, and then you've escaped Bosnia when you were 6 months old, and then came to the U.S. at 8. Got acclimated with the U.S. and like gone to school and doing all of that, and now you're having a full circle moment where now you are planning to moving back to Bosnia. Can you share with me why did you decide to make that decision to go back to Bosnia instead of like continue to scale and grow your business in the US?
Let me ask you this though, because that is the question. Why not stay in the US and keep on scaling and growing your business? Let me ask you this: like, what will happen in my life if I continue doing that?
If you continue to stay in the US,
Yeah, and growing the business and
if you stay in the US, obviously, well, for different people, obviously it's different. Like other people, like they probably have not gained the success that you've had. They
sure.
probably would continue to want to grow their business and continue to do that. But um, like if you personally stayed in the business, probably like you still probably like amass more money. Like
And what do I do with the money?
just like make more money.
Yeah,
and
more.
and also like obviously you probably like spend all the other stuff, but there are opportunities to give back in the US. But like I know that some other people like being able to move to a different country, the lifestyle might be totally different. So but I'm definitely curious to know like why
Yeah.
you decided to do that, because 99% of other people would want to continue to stay in the US and continue to grow and doing all of that.
And I don't blame them, like everyone does what they want. It's just like when I look at my projected life, I'm like, and Gentech is still gonna be around. Like we're still growing. Like I have a big team. Like I'm at a place where like my talent that I'm hiring is better than me, which I love. So Gentech is gonna do almost better, I feel like, then without me. I'm just making sure that we're still in the right projection. But what's gonna happen? I'll grow, cool. We help more clients, cool. That's gonna happen anyways. I'll make more money, cool. What do I do with the money? Buy the Lambo? I had the Lambo. I didn't like the Lambo, right? Buy the watches? I had the watches, whatever. Get a mansion? It was a headache, bro. Like I was like looking for my daughter half the day because it was 10,000 square feet. I didn't buy it, I rented it. But it's like I felt like we weren't even a family because it was so big. Everyone was just separated in their own rooms. And I'm not saying like I might not want those things, but like that's the only thing I'm going to achieve here that I don't already have checked off. So to me, it was like, what else am I missing? And in my book, which is called like Built, Not Born, because like I truly think that we can build ourselves. We're not usually born into everything. I talk about like seasons in our life, and I also talk about the different wealths in our life. And the issue is in the US, we just focus on one wealth, which is the financial wealth. Because if I ask anyone, when's the last time you focused on your social wealth, which is another one, meaning you dedicated time just as much as you dedicate to the business, to your family, to your friends, stuff like that. Everyone's like so scared to like connect with people nowadays because I don't know why, but like that's one. Another one is the freedom wealth, feeling like you're not attached to anything, having the freedom to move, like if you wanted to Bosnia, right? That's another one. Another one to me was is health wealth. I feel like as you start getting older, you want to be as healthy as you can, and I just don't think we're living the healthiest in the U.S. We have all the resources, but I just feel like I don't know. We're sitting too much because it's not walkable.
Yeah.
Bosnia, you freaking walk everywhere. I feel like the food is healthier, more organic, stuff like that. People will fight me because they'll fight me on anything in regards to Bosnia. But like, there's so many different things that I'm not checking off here that I won't be able to check off here that I can check off over there. Also, like to me, I learned a lot from stocks because like I used to day trade before back in the day. Now like I just do long-term trading. But like when a stock is pumping, like Nvidia, I don't invest in those stocks because I'm like, it could pump more, but it could also pull back. I feel like the US is at that stage where it's like, dude, it's been pumped like crazy and I can stay into it and maybe make more money, but I feel like it's going to pull back a little bit. It's still going to be better than Bosnia. Don't get me wrong, right? Because even Nvidia is better than a stock that went bankrupt.
Yeah.
But I see Bosnia as another stock that has potential. Like for example, like Robinhood, right? Because that just like your most recent IPO that is crushing it. I see a lot more potential there. So even from like an investment standpoint, I see more potential there. Another thing is like, dude, I'm from there. I love the music. When I walk down the street, when you hear your music, I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. It's your food. It's the things that you love, which is smoking hookah if you want to smoke hookah, eating cevape, which is like our dish. Listen to my music because I've never been to a Drake concert, but I've been to like Bosnian concerts. Over there, I have more of those options. So when I just list everything out, I don't know. And like another thing is like, dude, it's a chapter. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that I'll live there the rest of my life. Maybe I do, like I want to, but I feel like life should be a great story. And I think being in the US, I think my story can only change a little bit more. But being in Bosnia, having that big move, I feel like my story when I'm in my like on my deathbed or whatever, I feel like it's gonna be a lot more powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Looking
know?
back and saying like, that you've lived a life full lived. Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, also going back to your roots too, that's pretty awesome. So let me ask you this. So your kids and significant other, like, how did you break that message to them that you were considering moving back to Bosnia? And what are you thinking about? Like, they probably have really good schools and stuff like that too. But like for them to grow or to live in that, because that's one thing for you that want to go back by yourself, but also to bring your family with you that may have been, accustomed to the U.S. Lifestyle. So how was that?
Luckily, my daughter is 16 months, so she didn't get used to anything yet other than her bottle. With my girl, she has the same vision. We're definitely on the same page with that, so I didn't need to change much there. But something that you hinted on there is like schooling, because everyone's like, dude, why would you want your kid to go through schooling in Bosnia, which isn't the best schooling? Why not like, you have so many like great schools here and colleges. And I truly don't think the location will, it does have a great impact, but like if someone has a drive, they're going to figure it out. There's so many kids here that don't go to that great schooling that you're telling me to stay here so that my child can go to that school. But there's so many kids in Europe that go to Harvard and Oxford and all that, even though they're from Bosnia, because they have that drive. So the drive will depend on the person. And if they truly have it, they're going to figure it out. Um, my goal in educating my daughter is to build the drive, and she will figure it out, just like you did, just like I did. Like, even like having this, like you figure it out because you have the drive. Um, and there's opportunities anywhere, like everywhere in the world. Like there's so many people like living better off in Bosnia than here. No lie. Because what are we measuring it by? Like how much money is your bank account? Look, those people, like they complain a lot, but they're not stressed.
Yeah.
I
heard something really great yesterday from a coaching call that I had. Is they're talking about there's two different things. There's like wealth and there's success. Wealth is a comparison with like, the other person that like may have something more than you or maybe less than you. So that's wealth. But success is like, more of like, you're not comparing yourself to anybody else. It's like, more internal to you. So I mean, it's better to be like successful instead of like, being wealthy, because like, all of these things like, might be like, you're not going to be able to take them with you.
You're not.
But when you are on your bed and kind of figure out like the great life that you were able to live, that's different. That's much better than like, accumulating the Lambo, the watches, and doing all the other fun stuff. It's good to have, but you're not going to be able to take all of that. You be better to enjoy life instead of just kind of accumulating wealth.
I mean, I really try to learn from other people's mistakes. Some people like have to get to that level to realize it, which I did to a certain extent. But like, there's so many people that we meet, like we both meet, whether like they were like in board of advisors or like that I met because of connection somewhere else, that were like super wealthy, and I was like, bro, your life is sad. And I'm not gonna mention any names, but like there's big famous people that like I met through connections, got invited to their house party, their birthday party, whatever. And it's a huge mansion, but it's like 3 like divorces. Their kids aren't with them. They're there. They're inviting somewhat random people to their birthday because they don't have legit friends to come to their birthday. I'm like, bro, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, where's the happiness?
Absolutely.
Well, like in Bosnia, like you don't have the mansion, but you got like the love.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I explained with Bosnia, and I use this comparison a lot because like I think it makes sense. But like America is like the Michelin star restaurant. It's fancy as hell. You come in, the waiter is like waiting for you at the door. They're like, please sit down. We already know what you like. This is like the salmon that just flew in from Alaska. We got you the snails from France. Have these little bites of pieces of like food. And like it tastes good, but like it just felt empty and you're still hungry because it was like small snacks pretty much. And you pay like $5,000 for that. And you're like, okay, cool, whatever, let's bounce. And how often are you going to do that? Maybe like once every like 3-4 months, special occasion. I don't even know. Well, like in Bosnia, it's like grandma's cooking and you can't beat that, bro. Like it's not fancy, but you walk in, your mom kisses you, your grandma kisses you, whatever. She's like, I made you this food and it's made with love. And you sit down afterwards and you drink coffee. And you get that same like feeling in restaurants in Bosnia, like that's why like I'm comparing those two. That's why like America is like the fancy stuff. You're paying a whole bunch of money for like some emptiness. While like in Bosnia, like I feel like I feel that home cooking.
Absolutely. As you can see, we are live on Facebook and Instagram right now on the That's So Fire DSF Talk Show. But also we are live on Amel's page also. So if you have any questions or anything like that you would like to have him answered, please feel free to, add those comments over here, and then we'll address them for sure. Now, Gentech Marketing, you guys, like, you a co-CEO of that, and Christian Jamal is the other one. So during that transition, I know that probably could have like, created some rift between the two of you because he might want you to stay here and continue to build a business with him, or he might completely support you to go over there. So how did you break that news to him that you wanted to stop living in the US and move to Bosnia? And how, I guess, like, how did that develop? I know that might be like, a very hard question over here.
No, it's a good question because I can see this being like a problem for a lot of like future like companies and partners. life is going to change. Like when you're 18, your goals are different right now. So if you had your same partner that was working with you at the age of 18, you're not going to have the same goals. So it's going to change. Just like a relationship. Like when you're married to someone, maybe you met them when you're 18, but dude, whatever you told them, hey, like I want this and this is important to me and these are the values that like I look forward to, that probably changed when you're 25, 35, 50, 60, 70. But why are you guys still together? Because you guys talked about it, you guys understood each other, and you kind of figure it out. So same with like me and Christian, it's like, I mean, he has like different goals that are different from when we met. I have different goals from the day that we met. And it's just like understanding each other and being able to build a system that will support each other's goals. Because maybe, yes, maybe like us being together here, we're stronger. But again, like if someone isn't happy, like what's the point? Right. Even with him, like he wants to expand more into like his ventures, and like I support that because like personally, maybe I don't want to be in that venture, and there's adventures that I want, right? So Gentech is an entity by itself, and the reason I love the stage that it is right now is it doesn't depend on me or him that much. Obviously, we have a big impact because we are still involved, but dude, like Gentech is going to grow without us, and it's a good, strong backbone of everything that we want to do in life. So yeah, I think the answer to that is like simply just like being open and communicating.
Yeah, I think communication is key. And like one of the greatest advice or things that one of my friends shared with me, it says that if you wanted to kill a business within the next like 3 to 6 months very quickly, the only thing that you need to do is to siphon or to block that communication between your staff or between the partners.
Mm-hmm.
So communication is key. So you definitely having that with your partner like solve like 57 billion percent of the problems that you might have. So
like the way I look at things is like there's things that you should never do as a human. Don't ever screw anyone over. Don't ever try to like do something behind someone's back and stuff like that. And I feel like as long as you're not doing that, all the other attentions, there's a lot of positives in them. And I always try to look at the positives. Like even the company that we acquired in Guatemala, like our partner is Guatemalan. And he talks about how one day he wants to move back to Guatemala with his wife and have kids there because his parents are there and everything. And I'm like, okay, I could look at it as in like, all right, he's not going to be in the U.S. He's not going to be able to help our U.S. team. The way I look at it is I'm like, bro, if you're in Guatemala, you're going to help us dominate Guatemala even more. Me being in Bosnia, like I can like help us like really dive into a market that we haven't dived into before. I don't know. Like I try to look at the positives in everything.
Yeah, for sure. So where do you see Gentech in 3 to 5 years?
And it's still growing. I think what I keep on saying how like I love where Gentech is right now. And it's because we've been in the business for so long that it built the most important thing in the business, which is being in the business for a long time. Because the other marketing companies that come about, they usually die out because the owner gives up. And the only time a business dies is when someone gives up, which is usually the owner or whoever's operating it. If you don't give up, bro, you're going to keep on growing. As long as you're not running a shitty business, it's going to keep on growing. So with more years behind our backbone, with more employees, with more skill sets, with more like SOPs, with more like just resources, it's only going to get better and better and better. And it's hard to compete with a company that's been in a business for 50 years that's still like on it with the new trends versus you being on a call with someone that's working from their house saying, hey, I can run your ads for a lot cheaper, right? It's a whole different monster. So the bigger we get, the more we're going to be stronger than all our competitors. Absolutely. So that's why I feel like in 10 years, we're only going to get bigger than we are right now.
Yeah. So talking about dead, I know a lot of people are considering the agency model to be dead. Do you still believe that this is one of the best way to build wealth?
It's dead for the people that are running it from their room and they can't figure it out. um, because it's so easy to blame other things and be like, well, it didn't work, so it's dead. I mean, the agencies are always going to be there. Like whatever agency it is, an agency model is you helping other businesses. You kind of being the plug-in for whatever problem they're dealing with. So the agency model is never going to go away. The services are going to change. So there were agencies before that ran newspapers and like they wrote articles in a newspaper, and that changed to television, and then it changed to ads, and then in the future is going to change into something else. So we've adapted just in the last 8 years. So it's not going to change as long as we're adapting. Oh, it's not going to die as long as we're adapting to whatever the market needs at that moment. Um, which then again, man, like the actual like newspapers, like maybe no one's buying them, but people still need to hear about the news. So you just gotta adapt. I like how a lot of these like news channels that are really adapting, they're going on social and they're posting on TikTok and IG, so sharing the same news, they're just using a different channel. Like that's how you prevent yourself from dying.
Yeah. Going back to social media and personal branding, you've grown a lot in the US. You've grown your personal brand and the funnel space. Like you guys won ClickFunnels Awards, which is
Mm.
fantastic. And you have like millions of followers. I don't know how many you have on
Not a
Instagram right
million,
now
but
and followers. So now you are moving to a different country where you might be kind of like an unknown. How are you, I guess, like going to approach that to build your personal brand in Bosnia or even like Guatemala for that purpose?
it's the scramble thing that we talked about. I have a lot of things that I'm leveraging over there when I'm like, hey, listen, I have resources and power in the US that I'm planning on bringing into the Balkan market, which is like the whole region in Bosnia. I'm looking to connect with a few businesses that see potential in future that really want to level up. I'm looking to partner up with them so we can like really scale it. When I present it that way, it's like, holy shit, he has done it in the past. He has the case studies. He has the credibility. He wants to invest into a few companies in Bosnia. So it's like scarce. It's like if I don't take him upon this, maybe someone else will. So it's like it's sales process that I talked about, right? I'm using my back end case studies. I'm presenting the solution to their pain, which is no one in Bosnia knows how to level up businesses the way that we do in the US. So it's like if you want that, come join us. Come
Yeah.
join me. Just like the case study that I talked about, like when you have like a legit case study, do you want to ride this boat with me or do you not? If you don't, like you're not gonna be on a boat with me.
Yeah.
Um, and then obviously like I'm gonna adjust my content. Like that's why I'm talking about Bosnia more right now already because I'm adjusting my content to speak to that audience.
Yeah. So building your personal brand, and I know a lot of people respond to that as vanity. How
Sure.
do you respond to that? How do you answer that when people think that personal brand is total vanity and like, the people that are like showcasing their cars or like, all the other stuff. So how do you respond to people that says that personal brand is vanity?
Let me ask you this. So let's say that you were going to reach out to someone to help you with your business, right? You have two people. You have someone that completed all the degrees in the business space. They have like a PhD in business and marketing, like they have all the credentials. Or you have someone like Alex Hermosi to help you level up your business. Who would you choose?
Alex, 100%.
Why?
Because he leads, like, I mean, like the personal brand for him
Mm,
is like fantastic. Like I saw people from his lunch a
yeah.
couple weeks ago or last week. People were saying like, "Where is the little thing that he put on his nose?" Because that, I mean, that is Alex
Yeah.
Hormozy. Like if he just like show up with like a suit and tie,
Mm,
like people are going to like lose their minds online because that's not part of his personal brand.
mm.
But yeah, definitely would choose Alex also because he leads with value as well. Like all the types of content that he's providing and doing all of
Mm.
that. 100% Alex.
So that's a good example of exactly what are the things that we value in life, which right now is attention. It's an attention economy and like having the credibility, but like there's a lot of people that are a lot better off than Alex financially, skill sets, everything, but you don't know about them because they don't produce content. So still, Alex won because of the brand and the content and the following, versus any PhD from like Oxford or Harvard, versus any kind of success that people don't know about. Alex is winning. So when you understand who's winning in this market, you know what you need to focus on. So if you ask me like, hey, Amel, would you rather go to Oxford and get a degree in business, or would you rather create content? I'm going to go create content. So if you understand the value, then you have to overcome all the other objections that you're going to get in life, which is, oh, you don't know how to create content. You sound weird in videos. No one's going to follow you. That's embarrassing. You're holding a camera in public. Like, you look like a fool in public. Yeah, I do. But guess who's going to win at the end? I will.
Yeah,
Why,
for sure.
Why is even Trump president? Because of his following, because of his marketing techniques. So like, even like for me, I have a lot of like ideas and things that I want to do in Bosnia. Some of them like involve even politics. And I know with my brand and over 10 years of building a younger audience list that is following me on social right now, when the time comes, they know who to vote for.
Yeah.
Versus some guy that is just running some newspaper ads or whatever.
Yeah. Did you watch that lunch with Alex? I think like at the end too, talking about content and doing all of that. And I think that might be something that most people probably missed. Like when Alex was interviewing his wife, Layla, like they were talking about like, what are the top 3 things that has helped us grow to be where we are at, to be able to sell $3 million, not $3 million, to be able to sell 3 million books in a matter of like, 5 hours.
Yep.
The main thing that she mentioned was content. And that not has only helped her with like growing her audience, building trust with people, and like, creating a huge following. But that also helped her, like, how she present her message, like how she communicates with other people, how to create the advisory flywheel that she has. So the people that choose to focus on content and creating that are definitely well off than somebody that is going to go to Oxford to like learn the mechanics instead of like, actually applying it and like, presenting their message online.
I agree 100%, man.
And 2 days ago, I was in a room with Myron Golden. He does his live and like, some teaching. And one of the big thing that he taught on that meeting was communication and also imagination are the most useful skills that we have right now to make a difference in the world. To like people like 200 years ago, they were focusing on like agriculture to like create wealth. And then it became like, industry and industry, industrial age, and then tech age. Now, like the way to make money is to like, be able to communicate better, and also to have like a great imagination. And by utilizing those skills, like the sky is the limit.
100%. And the thing that's good with content is, say like back in the day when you did have to have like factories to build cars and stuff like that, dude, there's so much investment into that to build like a Tesla factory. You're stuck to that location. There's shipping. There's so much labor. Bro, it's so easy to make the money that a factory is making by literally pulling out your phone.
Absolutely.
And it's free. YouTube is free. Your phone is $1,000. Bro, like it's so easy.
Your phone or your computer is the new real estate.
Agree.
Boom. We are going to end this live stream very soon. Typically, I like to keep this about an hour, and we just like crossed the hour mark. But you're moving to Bosnia. What do you think is the future of Bosnia? What are some of the things that you are super excited about that is going to be happening in Bosnia in the next 5 to 10 years?
I mean, there's a lot of political issues where I think there's political issues everywhere. You can't fight that. My true hope and something that I would love to do if I could get into politics, is first of all fix all the systems that we have in the back end, man. Like it's so like corrupt that everything's just so outdated, and it's very similar to Guatemala. Like when I when we went to Guatemala, when they were talking about how like it's so complicated to get your LLC, register a company, and the issue is when you do have a company, even if you're not running any like marketing, you need to pay an accountant. Like all these things that are like in the system built for corruption. I would like eliminate all that personally.
So, am I hearing you that you are preparing to run for Bosnia president? Is that what you're doing?
But if I could do something, like it'll be that. But then, like in the business space, really investing into like the business infrastructure, like trying to build some kind of like. There's already hubs, there's already like grants, but like I don't feel like there's enough of a focus for business like it is in the U.S. Or like here, like you go online, you have a business in 5 minutes. You go on some biz, you create your account. Over there, it's so much more complicated. I would take a lot of that from the US to Bosnia when it comes to the business side. Eliminate corruption, decrease the amount of people in politics because everyone's getting paychecks over there. Like I think 30% of the payroll in all of Bosnia is like in politics, right? So where's the tax money going? It's going to like all these salaries that you don't need. I really like what the president of Argentina did, where he's eliminating like all the expenses in Argentina that were just like built for corruption.
Wow. Yeah. Man, was such a great conversation with you today, and kind of super excited to do we have any questions from the live over here?
No, everyone's just joining, but I think we ran through all the questions.
Yeah. Such a great time with you. Like it's so awesome to have you come back in the show and sharing like where you are at. Like when the last time that we talked, like he was like go
Yeah.
Making more money, buying new cars, buying new watches, and doing all the other stuff. But it's kind of interesting seeing that shift, and you were now like you are not like really focused on the fast life, like the flashy lifestyle anymore, but kind of really now moving to a new stage of your life where you kind of really focusing on better lifestyle, or like slow down, still go fast,
Yeah.
slow down to go faster, and then like enjoying life and enjoying the day to day, like just slow it down and doing all of that, which is awesome to kind of seeing that shift that has happened for you. And I'm super excited to hear like in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, like whenever you come back to visit the States, to kind of share some of those, and even having you back in the show again, and sharing how things are going for you over there. So as we ending the live stream, I have 2 more questions for you. The first one: what advice would you give to any entrepreneurs out there that might be chasing the money and chasing the growth and doing all of that? And then the second one, which is the opposite of that question, and we can insert them separately: what would be your $1 million advice to anybody watching this as well? So we'll start with the first one. What advice would you give to somebody that is like an entrepreneur right now, chasing money, chasing wealth, chasing cars, chasing everything, all the vanities in the world?
Yeah.
What advice would you give them? Let's start with this one.
There's nothing wrong with chasing those things. And again, I tried back in the day, I used to tell people what I thought was the right thing to do in life. And I realized that everyone has a right to live whatever life they want that makes them happy. Even like me moving back to Bosnia, people are like, dude, like, why are you moving back to Bosnia? I would never do that. I'm like, it's okay. Like that makes me happy. So biggest thing that like I do want people to just do is step back and truly, truly understand what they want in life, because a lot of times we're chasing things that we were told to chase, because on social they're like, if you want to be successful, you should have these things, because usually those people creating those content are selling their coaching programs or whatever it is. So there's a good exercise that I liked, and it's actually from a Bosnian business coach that I watched like a few days ago. And what he does with all his clients is he actually takes them to like a funeral home, like wherever they make the casket, and he makes them lay down. And I think there's nothing more powerful than you laying down and asking yourself, what are the things in life I wish I did, considering now that like I am dead? So asking yourself, what are the things that A, you value, right? B, if no one ever cared about, if you didn't care about what the people thought, what would be the things that you would have done? Which I think a lot of times we hold ourselves back from doing things because we're like, oh, what's that person going to say? And the third one is, if you could live a life that was full of excitement, what would that look like? Right. So it's three main things, which is like having a life of value, truly understanding what you want. The second one is important because it's almost like most of the businesses that you create, most people don't create them because they're like, oh, what's this person going to say? Even me creating content, I'm like, what are people going to think? The third one is like living a life of freedom.
Fantastic. Great advice. And thank you for sharing that. Yeah, super powerful. That thing when you just kind of sit, like even laying in the casket,
That's
like
crazy.
asking yourself those questions, like, did you live a full life, or did you just kind of waste like, your years? So the next question is, what advice would you give to somebody how to make $1 million today? What would you say to somebody, like what advice would you give them if they wanted to grow their business to $1 million today?
I mean, my first question would be like, why million? Why not 10 million? Why not 100K? Like, but it doesn't matter. If they're truly trying to get to 100K, you got to break down. It's simple math. What service do you provide? How much do you charge for that service? Do $1 million divided by 12 because of 12 months, divided by how many clients you plan on having or how much you plan on charging, and how do you get those clients? It doesn't matter what you do in life. If you have simple math broken down, you'll get to the million. Because if you're like, listen, I sell gum packs, and I'm like, all right, $1 million in 12 months, that's what, like 100K, a little less, 83K a month. How much do I make per gum pack? Like, it doesn't matter what you do. When you have that number broken down, you know what to chase, because I think if you're chasing things without focus, you're never going to get it. My recommendation is focus on high ticket items. It's a lot easier than selling $2 like packs of gum. But then again, those people selling the gum, they're fucking billionaires, So it doesn't matter what you do in life. You just got to have a clear vision, and you got to go all in. And I think sooner or later you will hit it if you're growing. It might not happen the first year, which is okay. Because my thing is, you're working a regular job anyways, making like 80K a year. Even if you make it in 10 years, who cares? Because if you say your job, you're never going to make it, So like, enjoy the journey. And I guarantee that if you enjoy the journey and you're strategic, you're going to hit it.
I love it. Awesome. Well, such a pleasure having you on the show today. Any parting words for the viewers right now?
No, I love what you've built here, man. That's why I was excited to come back before I leave. The studio is amazing. It's really one of the best studios that I've seen. So keep on crushing it. Keep on doing your thing. And I appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely. There you have it. For anybody that is watching this on my socials and also in yours, how can they get a hold of you?
I mean, social platforms. So Amel Kilic on IG, Amel Kilic on YouTube. I just started my TikTok, which is, I don't even know what my TikTok name is. I think it's Amel Kilic. TikTok has been fun. So all those platforms are good with me.
Awesome. There you have it. Well, such a pleasure having you. And it was fantastic having that conversation as well. And best of luck in Bosnia. And maybe one day I'll come and visit you over there as well.
You're welcome, bro.
Let's go. It's fire, baby. Let's go. It's awesome.